Alright, so today we have the event where the first 19 boxes are on sale. Half off gems, which means each pack is 25 gems each. Most of the boxes that were released early on into this game are not very good and have been power crept out of existence. But there are a few that you should consider spending your gems on. Without further ado, let's take a look. Scroll down to the bottom, and what we first need to notice is that most boxes will have at least one card that is worth pursuing. For example, Ultimate Rising has Spear Greeble, which is perhaps the best generic monster ever released into the game. However, it will not make my list, because having one card that you will dig through up to 200 packs for is simply not worth it. The first box that you should consider getting is Servant of Kings. Most of this will be hunting for staples. A lot of boxes also have archetypes that are probably worth digging into, like Crimson Kingdom has Gozuki for Shiranui, but those are not applicable to a large amount of people. We're going to be going over staples, or something close to staples, for the rest of this video. Anyway, first off, Servant of Kings. There are a couple of cards worth getting here. You have Man-Eater Bug if you want a meme, but the main card you're going to chase is Forbidden Chalice. In today's metagame, it's very heavily based on monsters, so being able to shut down their effects on either player's turn is a very, very good effect to have. Wall of Disruption is one of the most powerful back row traps, if it goes off. Unfortunately, that doesn't really happen, because it's a battle trap. However, for PvE, it is worth pursuing as well. Draining Shield is not good, but it can help you if you're starting to make a PvE deck. It also has System Down. Most people will not go to tournaments, but if you do, this is pretty much a must-have card, because you pay 1,000 life points to banish all machine monsters, basically. So, if your opponent is playing a machine deck, this basically auto-wins the game half the time. And if there's a machine meta, such as a while back when there was Kristrons and Karakuri, this card is a must-have, and it's only rare, so consider getting this box for these cards. The next box to talk about is Galactic Origin. This is widely known as kind of a bad box, and that is admittedly true, but there are a few cards to consider looking out for. First off, Into the Void. It allows you to just draw a card if you have 3 or more cards in your hand, and then during the end phase you discard everything. Some decks, like Shell of a Ghost Infernity and the Shooting Star Bocial FTK, or OTK, do use this card, but in the future, just being able to draw one card, which effectively turns anything into a 17-card deck, is going to be pretty good. You might want to pick these up or wait until the next sale to do so, but this does add some value to the box. Next, we have Cosmic Cyclone, which is one of the best backroom removal ever added to the game. You are able to use your life point skills if you need to lose a set amount of life points, or if you have some back row that you need to clear, especially Vanish, no card is going to do it better than Cosmic Cyclone. In addition, Trifortress Hops. Not a lot of decks are using it, but this is one of the most powerful hand traps in the game, because if your opponent summons 3 or more monsters, you just special summon it. It is big, 2800 defense. It is not easy for a lot of decks to get over, and it's completely unaffected by everything. Every single card effect just bounces off of it, so it can help wall your opponent out for a little while. Impenetrable Attack. Again, it's a battle trap, right? If you want to build a PvE deck, go for it. This is not really a card you should be chasing for this box, though. This box is not that good, but it does have its merits, and it makes it here. The next box we're going to talk about is Rampage the Force. When you go into this box, you're looking for one thing, and that is Hatronade. This is the most contentious card ever released into Duel Links, except maybe Alistair the Invoker, because you just blow your opponent out if they rely on back row to actually stop your plays. Get 2 of these, you pretty much need it for every single OTK or back row hating deck, so you need it. Other cards that might be worth getting, Memory Loss. It's free to play back row. If your opponent activates an effect, and they're in attack position, you just negate the effect and switch to defense position. Pretty alright. It's not that good because it doesn't actually deal with the monster, but it helps stop their effect. Dark Core. It's basically budget Karma Cut, but you can just activate it on your turn, which is helpful if you don't have Lightning Vortex, because that's basically a better version of this half the time. Discard one card, just banish something. It could be alright, I suppose, but there are better options. Still, it is relatively free to play, so consider getting a few copies of it. Next one we're going to talk about is Visions of Ice. The most powerful trap card in the entire game, Treacherous Chapel, is in this box. If you have no trap cards in your graveyard, just destroy any 2 monsters on the field. This can basically ruin so many decks. Very few decks can actually bounce back from being hit by 1 or 2 Treacherous Chapels. So it is worth getting, but do be warned, there's pretty much nothing else in this entire box. You're just getting it for Treacherous Chapel, and when you put it that way, it might not be a good decision to just go through the whole box for one card. Next, we have the best box to use with the half-off sale, Valiant Souls. First off, Paleozoic Canadia. This is one of the best back row traps in the game. You just flip a monster face down, which denies Synchro summons, it denies Xyz summons, and when you activate another trap, it just comes back, and you can use it for some other play. If you actually Xyz it into, like, Shining Elf or something, and then detach it, it actually goes into the graveyard so it can come back again. This is a very, very good card, and it's a chase for so many new players. Needle Sealing. Not every deck can use it, but for the few that can, this can absolutely blow out anything. You do need 4 more monsters on the field, which means your opponent has to actually put something on board, but if this goes off, you basically win the game most of the time. The next card to go over are Duel Links. Some other decks do use this, like the same ones that use Into the Void, so it's basically generic draw power. Nothing more to say. It is kind of bad because it gives your opponent graveyard setup, but fine. It's workable for the decks that need it. Eclipse Wyvern, if I remember, is actually banned in the TCG for being too good. Maybe this is worth picking up too. I don't know. I don't think it is at the moment. Backup Rider, 1500 extra attack. This isn't good for PvE, but for PvE, you can basically beat over anything that your AIs will send at you, and you might even be able to get lethal really quickly. Double Cyclone. It's not the best backroom removal in the game, but there are some decks that use it. Fusion Reserve used to be good. Maybe it'll be good again someday. I don't know. And there are actually a lot of archetypes in this. You have Yugioh, you have part of the hero archetype with Anki, and Mass Change, which is pretty nice. And you also have Amazonas, right? Onslaught just came off the limit list a couple months ago, so if you need a free-to-play friendly deck, that's pretty much the one you will get most of the time. Considering, again, you have Canadia, you have probably Curse of Anubis from leveling up Odeon, and considering the other boxes you might go into, Amazonas will not take a very long time to build. So that's a very, very good box right there. But there's not many other good boxes up until you get to Dimension of the Wizards. First off, Arcanite Magician. If you can summon this thing, you will want to consider it, because you summon it and you can instantly destroy 2 cards your opponent controls. Psychic Wielder. This is such a good card. You can special summon it if you control any level 3 monster. It allows synchro plays into like level 6 synchros, such as Naturia Barkion, or otherwise. It allows rank 3 Xyz plays, and it even allows, well, fusion plays if you need Trishula or something along those lines. It's a very good monster. Consider getting it. Dimensional Prison. Again, it's a battle trap. It's not good, but it can help if you're trying to build a PvE deck. Feel the Phantom Bird is seeing some play in Art Beast to dodge effects, like number 18 Heraldry Patriarch, but it's not that good by itself. The other thing to mention is that this box has pretty much the entire main deck Stromberg archetype. Golden Castle Stromberg is a pretty neat rogue deck, although the extra deck is expensive, so maybe don't go into this box thinking you're going to build it. Still, it is a nice bonus to have. And that's it, really. There are some honorable mentions to mention. Warriors Unite has Herald of the Abyss, which has been a staple for a very long time. Has some pretty good parts of the Xian archetype. Stardust Charge Warrior, which might be abused later, that you can just synchro summon it and then you just draw a card. Concentrating Current, which allows really nasty OTKs. So yeah, those are all the boxes you will want to consider getting. Not many of these boxes are actually not power crept. Alright, that's the video. Hope you spend your gems well.